Is it too late to make travel plans if you haven't done so already? Let's bring in our good friend Dave Lorenz, Vice President Travel Michigan and Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Dave, great to have you with us.
Good to be with you from my front porch of my office home, whatever you home office. I don't know what you describe it as these days, but a little rain and we needed it, so it's okay.
You know, Dave, I always say sign 101 that you're getting old. You get excited for the rain so that your lawn and your flowers get watered.
And you can tell that we're coming toward the end of a pandemic when you're getting excited about the thought of going back to Lansing's office and being with your coworkers. And I really am looking forward to it. We had a gathering of coworkers last week during a lunch get together just to celebrate one of our team members' upcoming marriage plans. And it was just so great to see everybody. And it just reminded me how much I want to be back in a real office working with real people. And of course, also reminded me how much I want to travel. Luckily, I have been out there and I have been traveling. Last night, I went to an event in downtown Grand Rapids. GR was looking great. And it was great to be back with a whole bunch of friends I haven't seen for a while as we celebrated the fact that the International Auto Show in Grand Rapids will be coming back this coming early February. So put it on your schedule. And, in contrast to the Detroit show, the Grand Rapids show is seen more as a buyer's show. They do have classic cars and everything, really unique cars, but it's a great way to actually sit in cars that maybe you'll want to purchase and see them up close. So looking forward to that. And everything else starting to open up all over the state.
You know, I wonder what it's like to travel with you. I think that for a charity auction item, we should do a trip with Dave Lorenz.
Should.
You know, it's funny. We actually seriously thought about doing something like that, but with Tim Allen, and trying to get on his schedule would be, virtually impossible because the guy's just so busy, even as he is back in Michigan now for the summer. And I'm looking forward to seeing him pretty soon. We are going to be celebrating our 15th anniversary as a brand this year. Pure Michigan is 15 years old this year. So stay tuned for some special activities that are going to be happening later on this year as well.
So, with that, Dave, if I can ask, because we know everyone here goes up north, but if people have not made plans, is it too late?
Well, it is too late perhaps to get that specific place you wanted to stay at that specific date. Because as we told you months ago, you'll remember that I said, listen, this is going to be a crazy busy summer because you could tell we were going to be opening up soon. We'd get rid of all these restrictions. And as soon as that would happen, we'd all want to travel again, but we don't want to travel far. So here we are, 10 million people in this little old state. And we're going to want to travel, a lot of us up north for understandable reasons. And now you might want to, on a Friday, say, hey, let's try to get reservations tonight in Traverse City or Mackinac Island or Marquette, and find out you probably can't do it. So the thing is, you can still find plenty of places to go to. And if you just kind of plan out a little bit, or consider going to those places that are lesser known that you haven't been to before. It will be a great way to distance, by the way. So maybe you haven't been to that sunrise coast of the lower peninsula, that northeast part of the state, or the Thumb area. Those are the two least visited areas of the state. And that's only because they don't have the major thoroughfares going through them. They still offer great experiences. And I love going there myself, places like Oscoda. If you want to find these little like cabins that are all cottages and things all situated close to each other, right on the water, there's some really cool places to enjoy there. Tawas City, Alpena, Presque Isle, think about all these places up there, or maybe in the Thumb area, beautiful places, Port Huron and Lexington. And who doesn't want to go to Bad Axe just because of the name? Bad Axe, come on, it just sounds fun. So, check it out.
It does sound fun. So, with so many of the hotels already being booked, what about campgrounds? Do you anticipate there's going to be room there or no?
Well, it's interesting because as I'm, sitting in the rain here, the local state park down the road is jam-packed. And I know it will be this weekend. So that's really the place where we're seeing some real tightening. State campgrounds are really busy, especially the ones that are literally on the Great Lakes. But remember, we have 11,000 inland lakes in this state, and we have a whole bunch of private campgrounds and lesser known state campgrounds. So you can still find some campsites out there. Think about it. We have 160,000 campsites, and that's just in the state and local campsites. That's not even really considering the federal wild areas or even the state wilderness areas where you can officially get a very rustic campsite as well. So a lot of places to go to with your RV or your tent or to find a little cabin. But again, you'll want to kind of check this out in advance and do your search. We always say your trip begins at michigan.org. And what we mean by that is go there, do some exploring, do some investigating, and figure out about where you want to go, about when you want to be there, and then make your bookings as soon as you can. You can still find some spaces.
So with that, Dave, I'm kind of willing to compromise here. I cannot necessarily stay in a hotel. I did go to Africa, so
Yeah,
I know what
very cool.
roughing
Yes.
is like. I've had to pee
Yeah.
out in the wild. I get it.
Definitely are.
That's what I always remind myself when I go into some of these bathrooms in Detroit. You peed in the wild in Africa. You can do this.
Hey, can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Seriously, this is not something we usually talk about. But one of the problems we're having, and I'll clean it up a little bit, is with people who aren't used to being in wilderness, not necessarily understanding the protocols of traveling and visiting our wild areas. People are loving our parks and our nature areas to death right now because we all wanted to get out there. But a lot of people in the wilderness areas, they don't know the protocols. So let's just make it clear in this area, what you take in, please take out. There are literally, go to an outfitter store. If you're going to be in one of these wilderness areas, you've not done this before, there are portable toilets you can bring along. There are bags that you can use to take everything back out. It's easy. Everybody's used to hand sanitizers these days. You have a whole bunch of it left over, so bring it with you, and let's keep nature natural for those who are supposed to be out there digesting what they should. So let's do all we can to be friendly with the places that we love.
It really is an important thing, and we don't think about it until you are forced to think about it. And
yeah, I have taken so many wilderness adventures all over. I was on a 4-day whitewater kayaking experience in Canada years ago, and man, that was an aggressive thing. And I really learned, long ago that hey, what you bring in, take it out. Take only pictures, leave only footprints, and let's respect nature the way it should be respected.
that's a good note with that. And kind of before we got off on the potty topic, you never know where we're going to go on
No,
the
I
show,
haven't.
by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, we keep it real.
Right.
These are
What's our
real
number one
things,
topic now?
Right.
folks.
But
Let's get back to our number one.
Right. So I was really kind of, I don't really want to go into a tent. I don't want to sleep in a tent, but I cannot necessarily be in a hotel. Glamping has really grown in popularity, but are there places here in the state of Michigan where you can glamp?
Oh yeah. In fact, a relatively new one down in the South Haven area just is fantastic. There's one in Petoskey. Actually, if you again go to michigan.org and do a glamping, GLAMPING, glamping search, you're going to find a lot of cool things. Or just do a search on Michigan glamping, with Google, and you're going to find a bunch of cool spaces. Now, if you have a really nice RV, first off, you already have a condo on wheels, but you also might want to have a pool or special activities or whatever. So that's one way to glamp. Other ways are these places that have these really cool tents all set up, like this place in South Haven and others. So, check it out. You can find a lot of them.
So with that too, I think we read an article a few weeks ago where RV sales last year exploded. Mm-hmm. So, you get them last year, now it's sitting there, you have to start using it. More RVs, do we anticipate they're going to be on the road this year here in Michigan?
Yeah. Again, we're already seeing it. I actually visited General RV last Friday just to see how they were in stock. at the one, relatively close dealership in Grand Rapids, and they had plenty of stock. Unlike cars, it's hard to get cars right now, and especially rental cars, because of the supply chain is in trouble in every way. So it was great to see they were in full stock. So I know that there are a lot of them out there. And the thing is, I get so excited about RVs. At this event in Grand Rapids, I was talking to the show span people about my love of going to RV shows. So I just like to explore them all. So you have everything from these little teardrop campers that you can pull behind just about any car, and you can, squeeze in there at night and sleep. But even they're pretty luxurious. I mean, they have TVs, they have, Wi-Fi, they have little cooking units that you can kind of fold down from the back end and have a little tent area. And I mean, it's amazing what they've done. Everything from that to these $750,000, class, whatever they are, huge RVs. And the Class A's are really coming into favor. Those are the ones that look like the bigger vans that you might see, and kind of taller vans. And it's always been my dream of taking a shelled out van and creating one, but now they've already done this. I lost out on another great investment opportunity. So, so there they are. They're already there, and they're so easy to use. The Class C's are also popular. Those are the smaller, kind of more boxy ones. Very easy to drive, and don't be intimidated by using them. When you go into the campground or RV places, they're going to show you the easy 1, 2, 3 steps on how to hook up the waste and the water and the electricity and such, how to pull it, all that. Really easy, man. Now you have me in the mood to go RV camping. I can't wait.
I'm surprised. Do you have an RV?
I always rent. And in fact, our friends, my wife and I got together, getting our roommates together. They got married, and a year later we did. We both have one son. So for years we've traveled together. Now our sons are off doing their own thing. But we did an RV adventure a few years ago up to the UP. Had a blast. Just had so much fun. So that's the thing. They're really, those Class C's are perfect for 4 people. You have sometimes like a separate little bedroom, and then you have, the different fold down options. So we enjoyed it. Check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Dave Lorenz with us here on the MegaCast, Vice President, Travel Michigan, Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And Dave, I know one of the things we mentioned the last time you were on the show is if you are going up north, remember cell phone service can be spotty. And to also make sure you get paper maps and get gas whenever and wherever you can. But I was talking to a friend the other night, and I was relaying some of this information that you had, and they have a Tesla. So what happens for so many of these people that now just have electric vehicles?
Well, we've been working on that. It's one of the visions of the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, the governor's office, et cetera, to be more prepared with electrification of the interstates and such. And, I'm a former Meyer guy. I worked for Meyer for 9 years. Proud to say I worked for Fred Meyer, great visionary, great man. And one of the things that they were really visionary about, and a lot of the big, retail operations with vehicle gas stations and such. Meyer has fully prepared all their outlets with, I think it's Tesla electrification sites, but I know they have some kind of electric car hookup there for quick power. And now that Meyer has 3 or 4 stores in the UP, it's easier now to get around everywhere in the state.
Well, my smart car only gets about 70 miles to the charge, so I won't be taking that up north anytime soon.
I can't wait until the day that I can get an electric car, or at least a hybrid that works for my type of driving. On a typical day, I'll drive a minimum of 200 miles. So I'm looking for more miles, and they're coming out with better vehicles every day. So on my next vehicle, I'm hoping to get a hybrid.
Yeah, and I will say, though, just keep in mind when we're looking at these electric cars, if you turn on the heat and the radio and everything else, that takes your battery life down.
Yeah, True.
I
Yeah.
gave someone a
Well,
ride
so
home and it was wintertime. I said, I'm sorry you have to freeze because I didn't charge the car today and I can't turn on the heat if you want to make it home.
yeah, I'm really proud of our our Detroit-based manufacturers because they see the future, and Ford, GM, Chrysler, they're all looking toward that and making adjustments. And you even see like Consumers Power is going to be out of the coal burning business within just a few years. So I used to call these coal powered cars because I felt like we were just fooling ourselves with electrification of cars. But as you see now, natural gas being used to make electricity and such, I think we're getting a lot farther toward where we need to be.
Dave, just a couple minutes here with you on the show. And with that, so many of the sites are going to be booked up north. So anyone that was maybe trying to think they could get in on that last minute, they're probably going to be stuck closer to home. But I feel like this summer is different because the fireworks shows are coming back.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, like this weekend, for instance, if you look at that radar, up north is going to be pretty dry this weekend. So I know a lot of people are going to want to get up there. Really, you really can find some last minute spots, but you just have to do some searching. And you're going to have to probably pay a little bit more than maybe you would typically do. That's one thing that's happening. Again, I mentioned the supply chain. We're having a lot of problems getting employees, getting supplies. That's forcing higher pay. It's forcing higher cost on products and services. So you're seeing inflation really starting to kick in, higher gas prices and such. So another reason why people will want to stay a little closer to home. And the cool thing is, I live in the west side of the state. I can't wait to get to the Detroit area. I was just talking to some friends this morning because I want to get back. I want to see that Van Gogh exhibit at TCF. I want to see the new Midway display downtown for skating and such. I want to get back to Detroit. So if you can't get up north, treat your backyard as your destination. And in fact, get out of the house because you don't want to be bothered with the lawn and things to do. Go to even a local hotel and have a blast. I will do that occasionally here, especially in the wintertime. We'll go to a place with a pool and just be able to kind of relax and have our family all come over. And normal times are back. So let's get back together with our friends and family, even closer to home.
And remember, everyone, as you get out, be kind because there is an extreme shortage of employees right now, so pack your patience as well.
That's true. And in pandemics, unlike wars that bring people together, pandemics historically pull people apart. We're not our best. And you see this especially on airplanes right now. People just kind of freaking out and going crazy. So try to be patient. And I have to remind myself of that. I mean, I called for a restaurant the other day just to see if they're open, and the phone rang forever. I was like, ah. So, everybody needs to remind themselves. None of us are immune from this expectation that everything's normal. Well, everything's not normal yet. It's going to take a little while for us to get everything back to normal. So let's be patient and let's really work at being kind. And I know for part of that for me is I'm really appreciative that people are coming to work. So I'm giving bigger tips than I ever have. And I'm a pretty good tipper because, it's important for people. They live on tips and they make a really good, living if they do a great job and get good tips. So think about that as well.
Dave Lorenz, always great having you on the show. We appreciate the conversation and wishing you and your family a happy 4th of July.
Same to you. Have a great time. Hope you get out there and enjoy Pure Michigan. Remember, your trip begins at michigan.org.